Hi, my name is Brian King. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to StampWithBrian.com. Today, I want to share with you part 2 of a quick video series about this quick and simple card. In the last video, which is linked below, I talked to you about stamping this sentiment perfectly inside the circle, and I talked to you about how I chose the colors that I used on this card, specifically the Emerald Envy, the Island Indigo, and the Whisper White. Today I want to talk to you about how I framed the card, and this is typically the process that I go through when I create framing for all of my projects. And I want to talk to you about how I found the balance that I needed to make this card work. So please, come on in and let's look at this card a little bit further. I love a perfectly framed and perfectly balanced card. I love when all the edges just create that beautiful tailored border to where everything's perfectly balanced and beautiful. So today I want to show you how I do that. And you might not believe me, but I don't start by saying I want this frame to be this amount and this frame to be this, and just go forward and it all just works out and I haven't wasted a scrap of paper at all. I want to show you a little bit about what I do in a typical card making experience. So I have some pieces here that I've already cut. This is the half sheet of Emerald Envy that I've already scored. And I'm going to start by, I already know that I want my sentiment here in the middle, right? But that left me feeling pretty dark. It wasn't enough, right? So what I did was, and these are all cut just a little bit down even from the standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to take off a little bit of each of these, and I'm going to say go in 1/4 inch. I'm just going to trim a little bit here and off of each side evenly so that I'm continuing with a matting that works. I'm going to do that off of this one as well, just taking off 1/4 inch to see how I like the way that it all balances this way. All right, so this panel is that size. Now I'm going to lay it all out here again. And then when I lay this down, and I can trim that later, okay, I could probably go a little bit smaller. So typically what I'll do is just cut a little bit more off again. And maybe I might go 1/4 inch. I might come to this line on the trimmer. I'm going to try another 1/4 inch. And this might not be the exact measurement that I ended up with before, but as long as I trim the same amount off of the top as I do off of the side, then I am going to end up with a perfectly matted image the way that I want it. So this is looking pretty comparable to the size that I have here and what I ultimately ended up with over there. And what happened was I originally did this down and I would trim this exact size, and I just felt like that was too dark. There wasn't enough light there, and this was the only bit of white on the card. So I pulled out a piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to cut this one down. I think this one's down to 4. Yes, this is cut 4 to 5 1/4. I'm just going to trim another 1/4 inch off of that, just to play with that size there, because I remember, and I should have showed you this, it didn't leave enough of the green on the sides that I wanted to showcase. So I just played with it here, put this white down there, and put that like that. And that seemed to be the balance that I really wanted, was by just shaving away at the sides until I got to the place that I want it to be. Now, this, for example, this band seems a little bit too wide, so what I might do is just take off, say, here's a 1/2 inch, and then lay that down, and voila. So it's just basically creating the matting in a full size and sawing away at it until it's at that width and height that really makes my eye say, yes, that feels balanced. I also want to point out real quick, when you start to glue down the elements of your card, and I know I haven't trimmed this here, but in order to get this, I would say, okay, so this is a little bit over 3, so I'm just going to trim this one a little bit over 3. And then what I would do to glue this down is to line it up along the base of my trimmer and then glue it here. And this would need to be glued before it gets put onto here so that I can make sure it's perfectly lined up on the edges and I have a chance to to trim this if it's hanging over just a little bit. So there you have it, a quick and easy way to create a beautifully balanced card just by simply bringing in the pieces little by little. And this, although it feels like I trimmed off a lot of paper, I mean, this is really all that I, quote, wasted. But if you really want to be frugal, you can use these as little banners and little projects somewhere else. So anyway, that's how I do it, and I thought you might like to see that and hope that it helps. I hope you found that step-by-step a little helpful. I oftentimes get questions about what are the measurements on your card, and I don't often know because I trim away at it or saw away at it to get that perfect balance. But I hope that these steps will help you to find that perfect balance of layering and color that you need to find that perfectly tailored card. To purchase these items or to see what fun we're having, please come visit me at stampwithbrian.com. Thanks.